match? Any specific plans? Any specific areas you want to work out? Or
I think it's important that we finish strong, as we've been looked to do. And we were well on the road to doing that with the victory at East Bengal, the victory over Punjab, and at Bangalore, obviously with some wonderful chances to win the game, which would have kept us in the mix. As it was, we conceded a soft goal. So, but we want to, of course, finish strong, and by doing that, winning as many points as you can. And obviously, then, as we do, it prepares us then for the Super Cup that's to come, which is a big competition, and we have 2 home games to finish. So we want to finish as strong as we can. It's great to have this man back. He's been on a long road since that trauma injury, so it's great to have him back. He's an integral part of our team and always is. So that's nice for Ankit. I want him, and that builds into what we're doing. So there will be 1 or 2 that will get opportunities, and they have to make sure they take those, because they've all had chances before. But we want to your point, we want to finish strong. Yeah, I think it's very evident, particularly in the Bengaluru game, that we create wonderful chances, and we have to. Those are not half chances; those are chances that should be goals. So we want to be more clinical for sure. To your point, and equally, stop giving up soft goals. So I think that's there's certain things that certainly can be better for sure, and that's what we have to focus on.
The season is coming towards the end. Perhaps you, as a coach, you want to try to win, so where you couldn't give him a chance before, or give one more opportunity to prove. But I'm to be satisfied. This guy is talented. He hasn't done well so far in this particular area. Give him one more match. Let him see how he does. Do you have any plans?
Yeah, there's different. What I would say, I don't think there's too many in that team that can say they've not had chances. They've all had chances at different degrees. Obviously, some have started a lot of games, some have come from the bench, but they've all had minutes to show what they can do. But you're right. I mean, there is things that we can certainly look at. We can maybe look at different aspects of an individual, what they can do and what they can. And of course, the important thing is that every one of those players have something to play for, because they want to show they will still want to be part of Chennai. But equally, they want to show themselves in a good light in case, if it's not, there's somebody else interested. So there's lots for them to play for. And what they've got to understand, the team they're playing against have huge motivation, because North East know that if they win, it will take them into the playoffs. A draw would be a big point for them as well, in respect of the couple of teams that are chasing them now. So for us, we have to make sure we're at home. And in truth, there's no getting away from this. Our home record this year has not been good enough. We've won 2 games at home. We've been far better on the road, and that should never be the case. So I think we were looking to finish those 2 games strong, win those games, and again for our supporters who they come through thick and thin, put a smile on their face by trying to win these games. So, but of course, it does allow the opportunity for 1 or 2 to get a chance.
But North East, they have one of the best strikers in the league, Alai. So
well, they have at the moment. They have the best striker, like 20 goals, and only 1 of his goals has been a penalty.
Yeah,
it's been
so
incredible.
Any specific plans to stop him? Recently we have seen some teams, doing good enough to keep him quiet throughout the game.
Yeah, I think first and foremost we have to recognise it. He's had an amazing season. I mean, Ajari's a wonderful player, works hard, but he's the same lad that played against us when we won 3-2 at North East. So we know what his capabilities are, but equally we know when we're at our best, and that's the frustration, because I think a lot of it, the inconsistency, even during games, has probably hurt us, because when we've been at our best and focused, we've shown that we can win these games against good teams, and that's what's going to have to be required tomorrow night, because you will, whether it's Ankit or whoever comes in, in that area. Ankit will play tomorrow, but whatever the area that Ajari pops into, that's because he can play through the middle as well. He can play off to the left, he can pop up on the right, and it's important there's a focus, a concentration, because he does find himself in good positions, and he's a wonderful finisher. To score 20 goals in the league in 22 games I mean, that's a goal a game. I don't know if he's played all 22. He probably has, because he's strong and he always seems available for games, and that's the type of players any coach would want. Juan Pedro is a really good friend of mine. I was looking forward to seeing him tomorrow, but unfortunately he's another coach that's suspended for the game, and he's I mean, I have so much time for him. He's an outstanding football man, but as a human being, he's a really, really good man. Somebody we got on well with, myself, Manolo. We have a lot of time for each other. Sergio, a number of boys like that. So I was looking forward to seeing Juan Pedro tomorrow. As it is, I know that his team's going to be fired up to win the game. We have to make sure we're ready for that. And these boys, the Ankits and everything else, these lads are ready to give everything they can, because they love the club, and we know they've been inconsistent, and that's about we want to finish strong and prepare ourselves for a big Super Cup that's to come.
Question for Ankit.
Yes.
So Ankit, this has been a really difficult season for you with injuries. You have been in and out of the team. Your thoughts on the season so far, and are you planning to extend your stay in Chennai beyond this season? We have a contract running down at the end of this season.
See, the injury actually I had, not many players could have. Many people thought that I won't play this season because I had a very severe injury. But now it took a little time for me to come back. But now I'm feeling very good. And regarding the stay, as coach said that. So first of all, when I joined Chennai, coach gave me opportunity and he trusted me. So eventually, he is there, so definitely I would love to be.
I want Ankit to be here. He wants to be here.
So coach, so you are here next season, but we are hearing a report from Scotland. Credible reports stating that Connor Shields has interest from other clubs in India. Top clubs. So, given your stay here next season, can we expect Connor to extend with Chennai and
Yeah, well, it's like all things. I mean, I had Greg Stewart. We won the Shield. I brought Greg from Scotland, and Greg did amazing. And he obviously huge interest from different clubs. Albeit I had left, and Greg moved to Mumbai. Had I stayed, who knows? But what I do know is Connor Shields is a wonderful player, a wonderful man. He loves being at Chennai. He loves the club. He loves the fans have him and hold him in high esteem, and he loves that. He's a great relationship, and of course, given Connor's had a good season, there will be interest. That's like somebody saying to me, "Oh, are you going to try and get Greg Stewart again?" I mean, these things are all possible. These are all on the table for everybody. So, but yeah, I would hope that we'll certainly, we'd love Connor to stay here. We know that. We know how he is as a man, as a player, and of course then. If it's just me, Connor's chatting, but then there's obviously other parties, there's representatives, there's different things. But what I do know is Connor knows what he has here. He has a fan base, a club that think the world of him, and there's a lot to be said for that. Because of course, there will be financial gain for others in different places and different goals. But we've seen many times, and particularly I think we've seen it a lot with young Indian players, when they've moved to clubs that can offer huge salary or give them bigger incentive, and in terms of finance, they go to those clubs. And I've seen some Indian players who I thought were huge talents going to these clubs and not playing for 2 and 3 years, and their whole career goes from, if we equate it to a ladder, climbing it, all of a sudden you're falling down that ladder. So I always felt as a player, what you had to do was pick the place that's best for your football development. Of course, finance plays a huge part, because we all have bills to pay. Everybody wants nice things in the world, we understand that. But there's got to be a balance at knowing, this is a really good fit for me, this place, and they're going to give me the very best what they can do, and I feel good about it. Because many times I've seen players, not just all over the world, I've seen it back in my time in England, in Scotland, in America, players move to other clubs for huge finance, and they don't play at those clubs. And then they're unhappy as people and as footballers, because the object of football is that you want to play all the time. That's why it's been so, forgive me for getting back to Ankit, but that's why it's been so frustrating, because this boy trains every day to play games, and we tried to bring him back. If you remember the Mohammedan game, we tried to bring him back early, and the injury we've not really went into the extent of the injury, but it was such a trauma injury. I've got to say, there would be other players that wouldn't have come back from what happened to Ankit. But he's got such character, such resolve, he loves being at the club, and now I think he's in a good place to come back. He'll start the game tomorrow, but it goes back to my point that somebody that loves a club, they're happy at the club, they want to be here, and that's the type of players we need at Chennai for what we have in our plan moving forward. And of course that's the ones, even as we move further forward, that's the ones we'll look to bring and add into what we have in terms of the ones that will already be here, and look to add to that and get that flavour right, get that mix right.
So, given the complete overhaul we had in the squad
yes.
this summer, do you think we missed a trick by not starting the pre-season early and not fielding the senior team in the Durand Cup? Because we would have had 3 or 4 extra games for players to play. No, because if you look how we started, there was nothing wrong how we started the season. We went to Odisha in one, we went to North East in one, and the reason those young players played in the Durand Cup was to get them the experience that we need if we're going to have young players that come through and build. So, the issue we had, it was never with the start of the season. We were well placed. Had we beat Mumbai at home in the game, which was it November, we'd have went second in the league. The problem we had was that middle period. That was nothing to do with,
3 games in the Durand Cup or not. And in the Durand Cup, I purposely played Irfan to get Irfan minutes and 1 or 2 others so that they were ready as they were. So I think ultimately what happens when you don't make the playoffs or whatever, then of course everything, oh, well, what about this, what about that, and you know that's what happens. That's the nature of football. But had we started the season and lost 5 games straight away, you think, oh, maybe nothing could be further from the truth. We started really well, obviously winning at Odisha, winning at North East, as I say, well placed to the Mumbai game. What we had to wait a horrible middle run, and again, we can always say about trauma injuries, decisions, this and that. Ultimately, excuses that they don't float with everybody. The bottom line is we didn't do well after that period, and we've got to recognise that and take that accountability and responsibility for that, which we do, and understand, to your point, which I think is a good point, looking at the things that can make us better for next season to get us back where we all want this club to be, in amongst those, fighting for those prizes, and that's the thing we have to be mindful of. And of course, along the way, when you don't get to those playoffs as we all crave, then of course there'll be criticism. We accept that. That's the nature of football. You know, football is never smooth, but you need to have a strong mentality. You have to understand that. See and look for the reasons why, and look to make that better. And that's what we're looking to do.
I'm just coming now to the hotel. I felt some Chennai summer has started. The conditioned heat will be a big problem as a person.
Yeah. You felt it. We felt it in the training ground. Obviously, Chennai now begins to heat up and get warmer. Of course, it does. But that's the same for both teams. That's the climate. We have to be ready for that, and that's when the physicality and also the mentality as well. Because North East will be ready because they're playing to get in those playoffs.
It's too early. I mean, March is too early because generally, April, May, it'll be hot here.
Yeah, it's got
So
that.
global warming or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's the nature. Whether it's, I mean, I'm used to playing in the cold back home, so to come in the heat, of course. But the players, they have good physical.
So in that case, you'll be doing substitution according to.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say.
Sure.
Yeah, there'll be a bit of freshness, of course there will. And again, within the game, there'll be some freshness. We still want to come to the game, but we still want to make sure that we're preparing for that Super Cup and using those games to help us to do that.
Coach, so like last season, we started our business early, making some moves. So have we already started making moves for the next season?
Yeah, there's talks ongoing. Obviously, I'm not in a position to say anything just now because obviously we have games to play. There's everything else, but there's certainly players out there. The challenge is, if we have players that we're speaking to, and obviously there's other players that might be available. But ultimately, you can't be. What's the best way to do this? You've got to be respectful of the situation of everybody, and that's the key. But it's never ever not planning ahead to try and get the right players that we can, that we think that can help us achieve what we all want to achieve. And again, I think you're right. Obviously, we did have a huge overhaul in respect of there was a number of players, and some of them did really well, and some of them probably have not got to the level that we would have wanted. And there's different reasons for that. So, but you know me, I'll always protect my players. Ankit knows that, and so I'll never ever say anything about an individual because the collective, and ultimately, as we say, it's my responsibility, and that's something we don't take lightly. We love this club. We're here to try and make it better. Of course, this season we haven't achieved what we wanted to do. We accept that, but we know the bits we need to make us better moving forward, and that's what we're looking to do.
Finally, so last season, we made all of our signings from the ISL. But if you look at, we have players like Akash Sangwan, Jiteshwar Singh coming in from the I-League and doing really well. So this season, can we expect Chennai to get more into the I-League market, bringing in quality players from there?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say there's really good young players out there. Of course there is. Sometimes you get really young players and it takes a bit of time to develop them and grow that. I would say Irfan's a perfect example, coming from 3 divisions down, but continue to get better one year, get better the next year, and now getting still improvement to come. I think Jitwashore now is back to full fitness and he's showing what he could. And if this man had been full fitness, you would have seen the same season from him as he had last season when he was excellent for us. So sometimes those things can take that away from boys. But I think there is good talent out there. We're certainly looking at some really good young players in different leagues. But as we were looking, so is everybody else. The key is to when we get a chance, and hopefully they're thinking about football development, because I think we as a club, we want to give obviously opportunity to young players, providing they're good enough. We have a number of young boys that trained with us this week from our reserve team and even under team, and I was very impressed by how they did in training. I will tell you the same. With 4 of them in, there's some more talent because we have a number of young players out on loan, but we had 4 that's with us just now. a couple of them 17 years of age, 18, did really well. It was really so. Of course, in answer to you, yeah, I think it's getting the balance, of course. And then again, if there is players that are with the ISL that we think can add to what we're doing, then of course we'll do everything we can to bring exciting players to the football club. All right, all good?
Do you have any injury concerns?
No, obviously Dinley shoulder recovers. There's one or two who's picked up a little, like Nampty, Kian, they've had that kind of head cold, kind of flu type of thing. There's a few boys that have been that, but I'll just see how they are in the morning, and then we'll take a call from there. But nothing in terms of football injury, but there is a couple of fevers and a couple of influenza, colds, whatever you call them over here. So we'll just take stock of that and make sure everybody's good to go. All good? Thanks for your time. Get a picture.